hard charger on this week's podcast, Michelle Keegan, 9 years in the industry, did over, what did she do? 90 houses last year? So 90 houses, something crazy like that. Douglas Elliman's own Michelle Keegan, worth a listen. Top 0.001% of agents on Long Island. Maybe you should do the intro because, yeah, but still, like, I feel like after that thing, like, come, let's rock and roll.
After that thing.
He did an April Fool's imitation of me, and he was doing it as part of it, and it's like,
what was it like? Yeah, welcome back, kid, for another episode.
No, it's yeah, kid. Come on, I don't have to pull up the video, do I? All right, noble effort. Yeah, kid, welcome back to another episode of the Handsome Homebuyer Podcast. My name is Charles, aka the Handsome Homebuyer, aka Captain Permit, aka from the cheap seats.
Hi, Mom.
El Judío Maravilloso. I don't know what to say. So we're back. It's spring. I'm fired up. Got a ton of new construction in. Obviously, if you're somebody out there who's doing new construction, if you're an investor, if you're a realtor, who else? If you're a mortgage person, if you're a title person, if you're going to have permit problems, which everybody in real estate has permit problems, you know you got to call the captain, 516-513-8838. And obviously, if you have a house that smells like cat pee, is dated from 1960, 6 inches of mold on the wall, human waste floating past the basement steps, commercial property, land, non-performing notes, I don't care what it is. If it's real estate related, you know I'm quick, you know I'm easy, you know I'm a good time. Scott? No, I want to buy it. 516-777 sold. And before we get into this, obviously, this podcast and every podcast is sponsored by Cardinal Financial. My man, Sal Rizzolo over at Cardinal Financial. He screens every single one of my deals. My closing times are between 3 to 4 weeks for real. Not like everybody out there saying, yeah, we're going to close in 30 days. They never close in 30 days. How often do you close in 30 days?
Not very often.
Not very often.
Once
30 days looks more like 60 to 90 days. This is a real 30 days. So if you're a realtor, hit my man Sal up. This is the number right here. Guys, do that thing where the number appears. If you're an investor, I highly recommend that you work with Sal or somebody like him. I had 3 deals fall apart in 1 week that were under contract for 70 plus days. And one of the 3 of them actually lost their down payment because they had a commitment. Are you having that problem?
No.
Nightmare.
Thank God.
Nightmare.
No.
It's been happening like crazy. You need someone to screen your loans. You want to call Sal. Here's that number. Scott, you know how to do that thing, right? Where the number appears? I love it. All right. So you're kind of like, I mean, I'm not going to say kind of because I feel like that cheapens it. Like, you're a Long Island real estate royalty. How do you feel about that? You're unaffected by that.
Unaffected.
And me in every possible way.
It was really never my goal.
But you're like we never really met until, we ran into each other in Babylon, and then we hung out at that party last Friday.
That? I feel like,
of course, you leave a lasting impression.
I feel like a little honored that you remembered that weird
moment, that quick moment.
That's the Handsome Homebuyer.
I'm like, hey, and that you were with a friend, right?
Cousin, yeah.
Cousin.
Yeah. And they were like, what's going on? Because I'm like, that's the Handsome Homebuyer.
And she's like, he's not
and
that
they looked at me
handsome.
and I was
like, what are you saying?
That's his name.
He calls himself the Handsome Homebuyer. I don't. So, but I had heard a lot about you. Always hear Michelle Keegan. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Keegan, Douglas Elliman. And I didn't realize, like, I always heard about you, but it was just your name. I had no idea that you were doing the level of business that you're doing. And then on top of that, you are married and have 4 kids, which then makes me even more intrigued as to how are you possibly doing the business that you're doing, because there's a ton of realtors. Like, as we know, 2% of all the realtors do like all the business.
Yep.
So once upon a time, I was like, maybe I'll open up a brokerage. And then I started going through the whole thing, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But during my research, I noticed that 2.5%, an average of 2.5% of the agents made $80,000 a year or more, which puts you in like the 0.0000001% of agents. So just so that so you can explain it better than me, you just received a very prestigious award from Douglas Elliman.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what that is.
Elliman, we do the Ellies, and they break it up. It used to be in just 2 categories. It was transactions and GCI.
Yeah. So for everybody who doesn't know what GCI is, gross commissions.
Yeah. And the truth is like, it's kind of an ongoing joke with me and my friends is I really don't even understand what GCI is. I understand volume.
Yeah.
But when they talk about GCI, it's kind of like a joke. I'm like, oh, I had the most GCI in the office. And I really can't explain to you what it is, but whatever. I am who I am. And
You also look very calm, not stressed, and like very put together all the time, which I'm really trying to understand because, so like I'm 42, I'm not married. I don't have any kids. And, you know, I didn't do the same. I don't have your GCI. So I'm trying to understand how this works. Like, do you walk out of here, sit in your car and just, you know, just pull your hair out because life is insane, or you just manage it well? But go back to the Ellie's first before we dive into that.
So
I bounce around a lot.
It's me too. So this could be a problem. We may be here for a really long time.
We always complete the circle.
Eventually.
Yes.
We make pit stops along the way, but yes, we end up getting to the end result. So the Ellie's are, it's all of Douglas Elliman. I'm in the category of Long Island, which is Suffolk County and Nassau County.
Yeah.
They just added volume. It used to be just transactions, GCI, volume.
What's the difference so everybody knows? Because even I'm confused now that you put the volume thing in. Transactions, commissions, and volume.
So volume is like you sell $1 million home, it's $2 million in volume. GCI is the amount of money that you're bringing into the company.
Yeah.
So you're not bringing $1 million into the company, you're bringing a percentage.
Yes.
Depending on what percentage you charge.
Got it.
Could be different. You know,
Got it.
if you charge a 2, you charge a 3, you charge a 6, whatever it is,
Yes.
your GCI is going to be different, but the volume is the same because it's the price of the house is the price of the house.
Yes. Got it.
So last year I was number 2. I had no idea. I was, you know,
Just
COVID.
Head down, churning. Last year was
No.
a crazy year for people.
It was a crazy year, but I don't pay attention to what anybody's doing.
Which is
I don't
better.
care what
Which is better.
anybody's doing. I can't do more than I'm already doing. So why do I need to know that you're doing better or worse than me? It doesn't affect my life. So when I sat down, because, you know, COVID, we couldn't do awards or anything. And when I was sitting at the island, I had my computer open and I was watching the Ellie's just like everybody else. I knew I had a good year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was clear.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it meant, what my numbers meant next to everybody else.
Yeah.
So they're going down, you know, 10, 9, 8. And I'm like, all right, like, okay. Nobody ever said to me like, oh, you're going to be in the top 5, the top 10, the top 20. I had no idea. When they actually said that I was top 2, I'm an emotional person to a certain extent. Like, I'm not a weepy, you know, like I don't get all dramatic. When it comes to my kids, I do get like a little crazy. But I could not believe that this stay-at-home mom that I always wanted to be in my whole life was number 2 in the number 1 company on Long Island. Like, how did that happen? And we were closed for 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, COVID shut us down. So then this year, of course, now it's on the radar. Like, you know, you never.
Is there more pressure now since you?
There's a lot more pressure. And I can't say that I enjoy that because I don't feel like I'm letting myself down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to let anybody down. And when you're at the top, there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I have my buddy Enzo, the guy who invented the 3D printer, is always like, I never want to be number 1. I always want to be number 2. I was like, why? He's like, because at number 2, you always have somebody to chase and people aren't trying to tear you down.
Right.
When you're at number 1, there's no one to chase and
Nope.
everyone's trying to tear you
Yep.
down.
Yep. So that is how I feel.
Is that how you feel?
Yes, it is. But you know what? Then there's also a part of me that's like,
Super competitive.
it doesn't matter. I am competitive, but not to the point where I want to kill you to be the winner.
Yeah.
Like
no.
I'm competitive with myself.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can with the time that I have.
Yeah.
And if it means doing better, great. If it means taking a step back, then that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
I'm not out to impress anyone. These awards they mean something.
Well, this is actually a real award. Like,
This is a real award.
most awards, like I started getting awards and I realized after like the first award, I'm like, oh, these awards are kind of bullshit. Like these are
Everybody
like,
gets a trophy.
most awards are bullshit unless it's really based on like hard data.
Yeah.
Which this is based on hard data.
Yes,
So like, no, this is a big deal.
this is a big deal.
Yeah.
It was.
Yes, you should be proud of that. Don't downplay that.
I am, and it was a lot of work. And I mean,
I can't even imagine.
I have the wounds to.
I
prove
can't
it.
even imagine. So to back up the commission, how many transactions was it?
I did almost 80 transactions myself last year.
Yeah. No team, no nothing.
No.
That's a lot.
And some of those transactions were half deals because if I was working it with another agent, it was half. So it was actually more than 80 because sometimes one deal only equaled a half.
So when you say you're working with another agent, so it's a half, so that factors into your 80 deals. What do you mean by that?
So you're an agent in my office,
Okay.
and I have
Is it your listing?
my listing or my buyer.
Okay.
And I say, listen, like I'm really swamped. Can you work this with me?
Oh,
So on the deal sheet, Michelle goes on, Charles goes on.
yeah, that's not a half. That's a
According
freaking...
to numbers, it's a half because I had another agent who assisted me in.
All right, so if you turned your halves into wholes, how many deals did you really
It was
close?
probably close to 90.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yep. And I did a couple, I did one private, a private sale where somebody came to me, they wanted me to sell their house. And I said, this might be a good investment.
Look.
And then I purchased the house instead of.
So just so people understand, right? Because when you break out the numbers, it kind of seems like attainably easy, but it's not. So you're basically doing almost 2 deals a week.
Real estate agents get it. The regular world, I don't
No.
think understands the amount of work and the amount of attention. And I'm a pleaser. So if you need me, I'm going to make sure that
Yeah.
you have me. And that to me is the hardest thing to keep up with because I never want to jeopardize the service that I'm giving someone
Yeah.
for numbers.
No,
or
and that
for
makes
money.
sense. And that's obviously why you've reached the level that you have. The struggle I can imagine that comes with that is there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
You forget about being a wife and a mother.
Yep.
I mean, how you have to service all these people. And depending on so what's your business mix look like from the standpoint of are you more listing heavy? Are you more buyer heavy? Are you a healthy mix of both? What does the percentage look like?
I've been, being in the business 9 years, you usually start out as a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
I mean,
Most people do, yeah.
right. I have been so fortunate that the last 2 years I've had, I don't know if I'd say it's 50-50, but it's very close to as many buyers as I have listings.
I mean, I was expecting you to tell me that you're at 75% listing.
No.
The fact that you're still running around with that many buyers is bananas. Not from the standpoint of I can't, you shouldn't be doing it, from the standpoint of just time management and everything. I don't know how you do it. And you're also
controlled chaos is pretty much the only way that I can describe it. And
but you're so calm.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. And my cousin, who's also a realtor,
and your hair is perfect and everything. It's
I'm
all
super
perfect.
crazy about, I got my hair done yesterday.
And you're
Make sure it was
really in
okay.
shape. I'm just so confused.
So my cousin put it into perspective for me a couple of weeks ago, and she always, I'm her person.
Okay.
I'm a lot of people's person, and I like that.
Okay.
That they feel comfortable to come to me and say I need help.
Okay.
And I'll always give it. And she'll say, she'll call me and she'll be like, I have this, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's not a big deal. If you do something wrong, we fix it. What's the worst that could happen? They hit you with a little $50 fine because you wrote the words wrong on, Stratus or whatever.
I hate when they do that.
It drives me nuts.
I made a video about it, and they threw Captain Permit off of MLS.
Right.
Yes.
So I said, Nicole, I'm like, you're getting yourself crazy. And she said, Michelle, you raised 4 children. My husband, I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband worked 2 and 3 jobs to keep me home. So those 4 active kids that I had to figure out how to get them lacrosse practice, dancing school, cheerleading, wrestling, religion, everything else that you have no choice. What am I going to do? If I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. And it was my decision to have all these children and their lives.
And you said you wanted 2 more when we were talking the other day.
Yeah. Hindsight is 2020. I think 2020 kind of taught us that. If I knew then what I know now.
You would have had 2 more?
I would have had 2 more. As long as I knew that those 2 would be as awesome as the 4 that I have.
I don't know if you can, but that usually, you get out what you put into it.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
If you hit it out of the park with the first 4, I'm sure the rest.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be that one that would just get that little jerk off that would ruin the whole dynamic of
Yeah, but you still have like a certain love for the jerk off because
you do. You do.
I feel like I was the jerk off in the family. Maybe still am. Maybe still am. But yeah, I don't. So let's kind of like, a lot of agents watch this or listen to this, and especially like in the newer agents, and they look at somebody like yourself. Like 10 years in the business is a long time. It goes fast. Like I'm sure you remember.
So fast.
Like this is my 7th year, and I'm like, I remember doing this like yesterday, but I feel like so much has happened because we pack so much into the time.
Yep.
But are you really active on social media? Because I feel like
I am. Do you not follow me?
I do follow you.
Then you would know. You must have blocked me or something.
I do. Do you not know? Do you show all your listings and stuff?
I do.
Yeah?
I am active on social media very differently than...
I feel like it's more in a personal capacity than it is in a business capacity. What's your screen? What's your handle?
What are you talking about? Insta?
Insta.
Oh, I have Michelle Keegan Real Estate and then MK Mom 2 Fantastic 4. And I kind of go back and forth between the two because I think that it's very important.
Yeah, I follow you on Michelle Keegan Real Estate.
Okay.
So 2 days
So
ago.
I'm trying to figure out the Instagram thing. Like I've just really gotten into there recently.
Okay.
I'm not a video person.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Well, you want my opinion doesn't mean shit, right? So I'll just give you my opinion anyway. So on social media, your social media, in my opinion, does not represent the greatness that is what you are doing. So I want to hear more from you, see more from you. Like you're not posting enough, in my opinion, although some people will accuse me.
Facebook, I post a lot more.
Hold on, I'm gonna look you up on Facebook. I think you need to post more often, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear you. I
hear my voice.
Yeah, I want to see your face, hear your voice. I want to interact with you in a digital world because, while it's a nice picture, be kind, you never know what someone is going through. Yes, I agree with that 180%. Obviously, we talked off air about things that are going on in life, but I can't further form a bond with you through that picture. And B, I just feel like you're selling 90 houses a year. Like, I need to know that you're selling 90 houses a year. And people need to know, like, holy shit, Michelle Keegan's selling 90 houses a year. She's got to sell my house because if she's selling 90 houses a year, she's the best. And there's a post right here that says you're the best. Ellie's 2022 Long Island.
There you go.
#1 agent transaction, 7th in volume, 8th in GCI, the Pinnacle Award, top 4% in the nation.
Pinnacle Award is that's really, the problem is people don't understand what the Pinnacle Award is. That is the top award that you can get for Elliman. But
well, it's nationwide.
I could call it the Handsome Award. You're not going to know what that means.
Yeah.
But
you know what? If you were doing a video,
you're right,
and explained it and thanked DE and everyone that's helped you, because obviously business is a team sport. We don't do this on our own. None of us do. More people would know. I would know. And people would know.
The problem with me is, and you may not believe this, but I'm super self-conscious. That's why, I envy.
But you're here right now, like nothing.
This is different because I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with you. I'm comfortable having a conversation about something that I'm passionate about. But to actually get on, set something up, and just have me, I'm not comfortable. And I envy the, you know, Nicole Schwartz and Dan O'Neill and Amanda Palmieri and all of these awesome agents who have the confidence to sit up there and talk like that. I just don't. I know I need to, which is why I do more of like the print, you know, where you see me and maybe you read what I have to say. I'm just not talking.
Okay.
And it's just a little bit more, it feels more organic to me.
Okay. And you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think people communicate however they like to, whether that's audio, digital, I mean, you know, audio, pictures, etc., video. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just, for me, my opinion, like I didn't realize you were doing so much business. Like that's a lot of business.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Like teams don't do that much business with like 10 people. It's a lot of business.
Right.
So can we talk about your prospecting methods, your marketing? Because this is like
we really want to. We can totally do that, but you're going to be shocked when I tell you.
Are you going to tell me it's just word of mouth? The phone rings like crazy. You've given outstanding service, and 10 years worth of momentum has propelled you to this moment. That's it. You're downplaying it. Not in the sense that you're keeping something from me, but I think you're downplaying it in the sense that like there's a lot more that goes into it. This agents have been doing, like, I'm sure you've dealt with this agent before. Michelle, you don't have to tell me. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yep.
But how many deals have you done in 30 years?
I hate it.
Sir
I hate
or
it.
ma'am?
I hate that.
Like 6.
Right.
So you have to be doing something, or it's not even that you're doing something. You're doing 40 things consistently well all the time, whether it's the way you're interacting with them, the way you set up your listing presentations, like whatever it is, you have to be doing something.
I think that I'm very good at keeping in touch with people.
Yeah.
Touching people.
The follow-up is like, that's where it's at.
And again, everything I do, nothing is, I don't want to say nothing. I'm sure we're all calculated in some way, but I'm not calculated in, if I reach out to you to say, how are you? How's it going?
You genuinely mean it.
I genuinely mean it.
Yeah.
I genuinely mean it. And somebody could pop in my head that I haven't spoken to or heard from in 5 years. And I'll still pick up the phone and be like, hey,
Is
how's it
that
going?
is that how you actually do it? Not just like, or do you block it out and say like I have to
No.
touch these people every time? You
No.
just, I mean, you just might be built to be insanely efficient. Like, I mean, women in general, you guys are way better than men at everything. You know that, right? Way better. Yes, you could say it. This is No,
Sometimes.
I'm saying it.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
No, yeah, everything.
I guess.
I mean, yeah, you guys are way better. You're like super organized. Like I want to be super organized, detail oriented, smooth, managing all this stuff.
I'm none of the above. I am none of the above.
How can you say that? You have 4 kids. You're married and you sold 90 houses last year.
Yeah.
You can't do that without being efficient.
I guess I'm efficient in my own way.
And you like, I remember I hit you up about something once and you're like, oh, sorry, I can't talk right now. Like watching my son's game or something like that. So like you're actually giving me hope in this moment. I was really upset about the whole Gary Vee getting like divorced thing, which is
Who?
Gary Vee. You know who Gary Vee is? I put those posts up every day trying to podcast with Gary Vee. Me with the sign.
No.
So Gary Vee is somebody who I like. He's a marketer.
Okay.
Very good, like very smart guy. I've learned a lot from him in regards to like my marketing techniques, which have taken my business to another level. And he's got a huge following. And I have this thing where like every day I post like an inspirational quote in the hopes to podcast with Gary Vee. So Gary Vee is the poster guy for kind of like, I work 1 million hours a day, but I still have this balance and understanding with my wife and all that. And then recently they broke up. Now, I'm not judging him for that. I have no idea what went on in that relationship, but it hurt me a little bit because I'm like, this is my last hope for somebody that's like obsessed with his career, who works like a ton, has some sort of whatever his balance is with his children and wife. She gets him, they get him, and it's great. And then it fell apart and I kind of felt let down. So now when he like fell, I guess he threw the torch to you. So now I'm gonna be watching you because you seem to like to be there.
Yeah. It's possible. It's 100% possible.
I hope so.
You cannot, though, value things over people. You cannot worry so much about the number in your bank account than the relationships that you're in. And that's what happens, is people get so driven by the dollar that they're forgetting that there are humans.
Yeah.
And then you're going to grow old, alone, and rich. Some people want that.
Yeah.
I never wanted that.
I don't get caught up in the money aspect of it. I get caught up in just the deal aspect and my ADHD of like constant moving, like I gotta go. Like, you know, the new challenge, the new climb, the this, the that. Like that's what I get caught up in. Not the money. Like you need the money to play the game. I like playing the game.
Yep.
Like the game is fun.
You have to find somebody who balances you, and you can't be the same. You can't be with somebody that has the same business drive the way you do, because there's not going to be. You're never going to get together. Like
do you believe in an opposites attract?
It's not even an opposite. I guess to a certain extent.
This made a quick left and turned into a therapy session for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Keep it coming.
So when I was a kid, and if you watched any of the other podcasts, I'm not shy about saying I never wanted to be a career woman.
Okay.
Ever. I wanted to be a mom.
Nothing wrong
and
with
I wanted
that.
to be a wife.
Nothing wrong with that.
You say that.
Just as long as everyone's on the same page.
Right.
There are men that have a problem with their wife being a career dominant, very successful person.
Yeah, because they become inferior. They feel like they're inferior to them.
Because, I mean, listen, like it or not, I am a feminist. I'm a mother, 2 daughters, all that. But like gender roles in society do exist to a certain point. And if you have a wife that is, it takes a certain kind of man to handle a very successful, you know, wife.
Right. So it was different for me because when my kids are older now. Like my oldest son is married. I have a daughter-in-law. You know, my second son, he's in Binghamton. He's a lacrosse player there. And then my daughter is a senior and I have a freshman. So when
You're almost there.
I'm almost there.
You would have
and
wanted to continue with 2 more after that?
I wouldn't have minded.
Holy shit.
Maybe in between.
You know what it is? I feel like once you hit the 3 mark, it's
don't
just,
even say
it doesn't even
it's
matter.
It's all the same.
It's crazy. Yeah. They're killing each other. It's just, that's it.
That is one thing that drove me nuts that people used to say, oh, you're having 4. It's not true. Think about it this way.
I mean, it's more expensive. That's for damn sure.
Well, the expense.
Yes, that's it.
It's another person to run around. It's another person to keep alive every day. You know, it's another person
worry about somebody dying.
Like, really?
How was today? Well, we made it through another day without someone dying.
Right. Pretty much. Like,
all the kids are still here.
We'd be out somewhere and my husband would be like, where's Thomas? And I'd be like, where's Thomas? And I'm like, mother effer, he's right there. I knew he was there the whole time.
My dad left my sister in the hockey rink when I was a kid and
Oh,
didn't realize and said, Dad, you remember that? Remember when you left Mara in the hockey rink and Mom flipped out? Yeah, she did.
I have left a child behind. It happens. And they're fine. And they're resilient now because it's happened.
Growth through pain.
Yeah.
Children.
Yeah.
Growth through pain. Were you ever left somewhere as a child?
My grandma.
He remembers. Walmart, no less. And he's here to tell the story.
And it built you into the man you are today.
Look at you. The people. Forget the aisles.
Yeah, yes, there were some crazy people strolling through Walmart.
Sometimes I walk through and I'm like, oh, so that's where they got the people for those shows. Like, they came here.
I guess I'm not going to be an influencer for Walmart after this. Yeah, I always felt like, all right, 1, easy. 2, all right, you have 2 parents you can manage. 3, pandemonium, might as well have 30. You're outnumbered. They're running the house.
Yep. It is somewhat true.
Okay.
But there is, like I said, you know, 1 more mouth to feed, 1 more pair of $100 sneakers, 1 more sign up for a sport, one more college tuition to pay.
Oh God.
I mean, there's a lot. And then there's one more human. Like, I remember when I had my first and I wanted a second so bad, so quickly. It didn't happen for me. It actually, it took 3.5 years. But I remember thinking like, okay, like I'm so obsessed with this child. Like he's everything to me. When I have another one, it's going to take the focus off of him a little bit. And the complete opposite happened. You have another child and now it's twice the anxiety. It's twice the love. It's
God.
twice and then multiply it by 4. It's like, these are, you have to make sure, especially like we talked about before, like there's so much going on in the world. You have to remember that these young adults are still humans.
No, you can keep talking. It's gonna
going through going through things and making sure that as busy as we are, as busy as my husband is, as busy as I am, to make sure to check in with your kids and say like, how are you guys doing? Like, everything okay? Like, did you eat today? Did you go to class?
Did you
Don't tell me DW. I'm fine, Mom. DW. Now I know DW means don't worry.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either.
DW, don't worry. I'm like, when are you going to understand that for the rest of your life and for as long as I am breathing, I will always worry?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I get that. And my mother says that to me and I get that. We go back to the part where you're telling me about who my wife is.
Your wife?
Yeah, who my wife's going to be.
Your wife is going to be somebody that appreciates you for who you are and is going to, for me, my job, I felt like when we were younger, I've been with my husband since high school. I didn't care about a career. So my job was to help him maximize his career.
So when did the shift happen?
When my youngest, I say when my youngest went to kindergarten, but that's not why it happened at that time. It happened when my 3 older children were able to take care of the little one and keep him alive if I wasn't home. Basically, that's what it was. And it was when he went to kindergarten and I knew if I had to be on an appointment that one of my other 3 children could walk to the bus, get him off the bus, bring him home, and take care of him.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about, as you're telling me this, I'm thinking about my own mother. So my mother was a stay-at-home mom. She went back to work when I was probably like 13 or 14 years old. And she
Are you
worked,
the oldest, youngest?
I'm the oldest.
And how old was the youngest?
So the youngest is 33. So the youngest is 33. I'm 42. And then I have a sister that's 39. So my mom is 100% Sicilian, cooked every night. Like, yeah, I'm a mom. My mother's a saint. Like I was spoiled like that. And,
Are you the only boy?
What? I'm the only boy.
Oh boy.
I'm the only boy.
Wow.
I wanted a brother, a 4th. They didn't do it. They got me a dog that was a boy, but it was a Bichon. So there's nothing like hyper masculine about a Bichon.
No.
Which is fine. That's why I say I'm a feminist. So I don't know. I kind of noticed my mom went back to work. She just retired from the health department after being there for like 25 years. But when we all got older, I almost kind of saw her like struggle with like her identity. Like if I'm not Jay's wife, Charles, Maren, Leah's mother,
Who am I?
who am I?
Yeah.
We never talked about this, but I saw it.
That's the truth.
I saw it. And I always say like, I sort of got married once. That's a story for another time. Actually, everybody knows about that story, so it doesn't matter. But the point is like, and now when I meet women, I date or whatever it is, I feel like it's super important for everybody in the relationship to have their own independence, their own life, and their own things that
But maybe that identity is what she wanted. I'm okay being identified as just their mother.
I get it. But just as long as have you ever noticed situations where you feel like people, men and women, it's not like a woman or a man thing. They get to a certain point where they don't have something that's theirs that kind of validates them. Yeah. And especially as they get older and they feel like maybe they're losing their attractiveness or their physical ability to play something or do something that gave them that validation, they start to lose their mind.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. No, you're right. You're right. And I
How did we get here?
decided.
You are that person. You're now becoming my person.
I'll be your person.
I need a therapy session.
I can be your
Charles, it's going to be okay.
We're gonna be
What's
fine.
the worst thing that
The
happens?
couch. We'll set up a couch over here, and I'll come in once a week. It's fine.
I feel like this is going to be more of like a car ride thing. Like you're driving, I'm driving. I'm like, listen, Michelle, I got to talk to you. Set me straight.
Anytime.
So
As long as you don't mind the truth, because I'll never.
no, I need
I'll
it.
never tell you something that you want to hear.
I don't care what you tell me, just as long as it's the truth. That's like my saying in life.
Me too.
So what I'm trying to understand is then how do you shift from like, I'm helping my husband propel his career to be the most that he's going to be, can be, while keeping 4 people alive, to this like hyper successful, driven business person.
I really don't see myself as this business person,
But you are.
but I guess I am. And it didn't happen overnight.
No.
So when I got into the business, Brian was, doing his thing. Like, he was in the service. So we were.
By the way, like your husband looks, and I'm sure is, like I want to be badass like your husband.
Did you see the picture that I posted of him yesterday on Facebook?
Let me see it. No, I didn't see it.
Please
But
go look at the
I met him.
badass that you're talking about.
I met him, and I'm just like, this guy's badass. Like, I want to be this badass. Like, I want to be the person that, I mean, I feel like he could hug you 1 minute, and if he doesn't like you, like with 3 fingers, he could kill
Oh,
you.
he could. But he is a pussycat. You'll get there. Do you see it?
I'm on your page. I see.
Are you on my personal or my professional?
I'm on your personal Michelle Keegan page.
Okay.
I see you and him standing in the bubble.
What bubble? Let me see. Where are you? Oh, okay, wait. Oh, okay. There's the badass. Okay.
No, that's still badass though. Look at him. He's got the dog on
He's
his
holding
chest.
her hand. He's holding my dog's hand.
He has a Punisher sticker on the outside of his phone.
He
The
does.
Punisher is badass. He's tatted up. He's got the American flag. He still looks like a badass that's sleeping who just came back from like a 72-hour mission and hasn't slept.
Well, he did just come back from a mission, and he was taking his nap before he went back to work.
That's right.
He gets up at a couple times a week, like 4:30, and goes to jujitsu. And that's, why? Roll around with sweaty, gross men at 5 o'clock in the morning is really not something. But it's really a brotherhood there. He loves it. He comes home and he does that with my dog, and there's another dog.
And they hold each other's hands?
He's free. I'm like, is this guy? Oh, we don't even come close to touching each other when we sleep. Forget about like holding my hand. And there she is, all snuggled up in his. I'm like, all right. And he doesn't.
Is this a sore spot?
No.
Oh, okay. You don't ever
No.
say to him like, why does the dog get their hand? Like,
No, I don't need it. I don't need it.
Are you
It's
not?
fine. Stay there with the dog. Leave me over here. We're good. We're all good. Yeah. 26 years of marriage, and we're doing
four
just fine.
kids and you wanted 2 more. I'm sure there's plenty of hugs and
There was
and stuff.
just a couple.
And stuff.
And stuff. Like maybe 4 times. That's about it. Yeah. So he is. He's a great guy. He's a super like family man. Like everything. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago. We were at dinner, and it's been a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot when 2 of your children don't live with you. My one son is an active duty officer in the Marine Corps. My other son, as we spoke about, he's away at Binghamton. He's a lacrosse player. So there is no coming home like this. He left in January, and we see him because we go to his games and stuff, but there is no coming home and, being home. This is our, under our roof. So it's a lot for both of us, really. And plus with the business being so crazy and trying to like manage it all without looking like, one of those crazy memes, which is what I feel like internally a lot. And I said to him, I'm like, I'll censor myself and how I really said it, but I'm like, I feel like I need to get out of here. Like I need a break. I need a vacation. I need something. And he's like, no. And I'll tell you why. And it's true. Like he brings me back. 'Cause he's like, Michelle, this is not forever. Time goes so fast. We're not going on vacation. I've never vacationed without my children. ever.
Okay.
It's just not me. It's not my
Oh,
personality.
so you wanted to go on vacation, just you and him?
No, I just wanted to a change of scenery. Like,
Okay.
just get me out of here for a little while. No,
Okay.
I always want my kids. My kids
Okay.
are my favorite people.
Okay.
I always wanted them with me. We were never the people that were like, oh, we need to get away from them. Like, and good for you if that's your thing. Like, I don't judge you for that.
Yeah.
It wasn't my thing.
Got it.
And looking back, like, I can't have that time back. Now, for us to take a family vacation, we'll be with everybody.
It's hard.
Will be next to impossible. Like, my son has a wife now. Like, you know, he's in the service. You can't just say, oh, like, let's take this week and go to Mexico for the week. So all those vacations and stuff, like, that was our time as a family to regroup and be away from everything. And he said, I'm not missing Matthew's games, Thomas's games, Delaney's games. I mean, Brian is, you know, doing his thing where he is, but he's like, we're not missing that, because you know when it's over, it's over. There is no going back. You can't turn back time. And that's something that all of these young women, young men, you know, getting into business, starting their careers, and are struggling with, how do we balance the family? If you can figure it out, and it's what you want, because we're all different. It was what I wanted. If you want to stay home and raise that baby that you had, or 4 babies or 6 babies or 2 babies or whatever it is, find a way to do it. Because if I can be anything to those people, I hope that I'm an example that you can raise your family and struggle, because we did. It was not easy. I mean, there were times where I was like, wow, there's $250 in the account and you're not getting paid for another 2 weeks. Like, how is this happening? But we did it. And it wasn't because I didn't want to touch the savings account. There was no savings account. What we had was what we had, and we managed. And guess what? I've made up for it by, you know, tenfold. And I raised my children. And I can never look at my kids, and no woman or man out there can look at their kids and say, please be 2 again, because it doesn't happen. But if you have a drive and you have a will, you can succeed in business and make money anywhere. That's all I got when it comes to my opinion, and it's just me. Wouldn't work for everybody.
I have nothing to say. I actually want to end it there because that was, it's 45 minutes. And at that point, I feel like people are tired of hearing me. Maybe not so much you, but B, I just feel like that was probably the way we should go out.
So we're going to go find your wife, and you're going to name your first child Michelle. Because
No, I want it to be a boy.
Michael, me too.
All right, there we go. They're easier, right?
So much easier.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, my girl, I have 1 girl, 3 boys, and she's pretty much a boy with a different part.
Right.
So we lucked out that way. Like, she's not like, you know, like, I'm the princess. Like, she's like a boy.
I'm just like more concerned about, I mean, yeah, there's a lot there, but I'm more thinking about like, she'll be attractive and everybody will want to have sex with her, and I don't want to deal with that.
It would be worse the other way.
What do you mean? No. Oh, if she was ugly?
Yeah.
I would just rather have a boy and not worry about it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, comes out a girl, push it back in until it comes out a boy. I don't know.
All right. I mean,
I don't know if that works.
maybe one day.
Oh, you have 3 boys.
Yeah.
So then we're going to close out on this question, which is what I've asked thousands of people. So I've wanted boys my entire life. Hopefully that doesn't jinx this if I ever have a
Yeah,
kid.
definitely popping out like triplet girls.
Come on. Why would you do that?
I'm sorry.
So I have surveyed thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. From the time I worked in a 7-Eleven when I was 15 years old, I would ask everybody, you have boys, you have girls? Okay. So you have 3 boys.
Yep.
I need you to think back, and 1 girl. I need you to think back to the moments of conception and tell me what the commonality is with the boys versus the girl. Because there had to be something.
Well, I don't know why you haven't realized this yet, but nothing I do is calculated. So none of my pregnancies were like, okay, like.
But there has to be something common. Like the man, it's the man's job or whatever determines the sex of the baby, right? So your husband had to be like drunk one time or not the next, or like, you know, just, I don't know, something standing on his head. There has to be some commonality there.
They do say that there is something, but I don't know.
All right. It was worth a shot. I ask everybody. Some people come up with crazy things.
Because
like,
some people really have, there is like a method that they say
Yeah.
that you can do, and they've done it. And
Yeah.
but for me, I didn't, the difference is I didn't care what it was going to be.
Okay.
Like, okay, great. Like when I had the girl, they were like, oh, you have the girl, you're done. Or people will find out, oh, you have 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl. Oh, you got the girl. I'm like, the girl wasn't the 4th. We really wanted 4 children. She's actually the 3rd. And there was another boy after her.
Wow.
And they're like, wow. Because you see that a lot. Actually, I was on a listing last night, 3 girls, 1 boy. And we had this conversation. She goes, I was going for the boy.
Did you get the listing?
I did.
Fuck.
And it's a beautiful one.
Savagery. Good for you. Listen, people who, don't follow you don't realize, the level of business that you are doing, or if someone wants to list their home, how do they get in touch with you? How do they find you on social media? Whatever you want to put out there for the world to
Social media, I mean, personal and private. Michelle Keegan is pretty easy. What am I on Facebook? Michelle Keegan.
Michelle Keegan, just Michelle Keegan.
For my professional?
Oh, you're a professional? I don't know.
I do have a professional. See, you really don't follow me.
I follow your personal.
I was just a nothing a couple weeks ago.
I was just
Michelle Keegan in Charles'
I mean,
eyes.
I'm happy that we've got to this level at all. It could have never happened.
Could have never happened.
Thank God Brianna had her birthday.
I love her.
I love her too.
She's like a daughter to
She's
me.
the best.
Actually, I was talking to her on the way here.
Rihanna?
Yep. She's literally like I could have birthed her. That's how much I love her. Yeah. So anyway,
It's out there.
It's out there.
Obviously, I'm the handsome home buyer. 516-777 sold. We got the captain down there. Captain! 516-513-8838. And again, this is sponsored by Cardinal Financial. Sal Rizzolo. There's the number. Call them.